Dom Harvey, the Joe Rogan of Aotearoa, New Zealand. 4.5 million downloads, winning New Zealand's Podcast of the Year in 2024.
Man, I'm just a dude that's got no actual talent or no actual skill, but I've just got like hustle and grind and perseverance, and I reckon that's my superpower. Podcasting and YouTube is that it's an equal playing field. Anyone can get the equipment, give it a go, and you either find an audience or you won't. I do have those moments where my mind wanders and it's like, what the I'm sitting here with Sir John Key or whoever it happens to be. It's good to have some sort of struggle or adversity in your life and building something new. People love throwing around 100%. They say they gave it 100%, but did you really? Did you actually? Probably not.
Future Dom, 5-10 years.
Dead.
Who would be your dream guest, Dom?
Don't squander the opportunity.
That's crazy. Oh. He's mine too. Kia ora everyone. Zach and Jake here from The Martin Show. Just a friendly reminder to please subscribe to our channel. It helps the channel more than you know, and it gives us more opportunity to be able to bring great guests.
We appreciate all the love we have received in 2024. 2025 is going to be a massive year. Enjoy all the episodes coming up, whānau. Much aroha.
To the moon. Dom Harvey, welcome to the show.
Zach, it's great to be here on The Martin Show. Bro, this is awesome.
I know, pretty crazy. Yeah. You usually say that to your guests. You know, it's and now it's the tides have turned.
I feel so awkward, and I have this trait where I'll probably throw it back on you and ask you questions.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know why. It's probably like a ploy to eat up time to avoid talking about myself. But I feel so much more comfortable being the one that's in charge.
Have you ever done many of these?
Yeah, I've done a few.
Yeah?
I've done a few, but
and you
I try and sort of weasel my way out of them.
Well, essentially you are the, I guess, the Joe Rogan of Aotearoa, New Zealand. Would you classify that, Joe Rogan of Aotearoa?
Oh, bro. No, not at all, but thank you.
Well, it's true.
Thanks.
No, leading the way, man. Dom, for us to get to know a little bit more about who you are, how would you describe who you are and what it is that you do?
I'm Dom Harvey. I've been a broadcaster, now I'm a podcaster. That's what I do. Who am I? Man, I'm just a dude that's got no actual talent or no actual skill, but I've just got like hustle and grind and perseverance, and I reckon that's my superpower. Like, I've been no good at anything, and I look back now from the perspective of where I am as like a 52-year-old man that is still trying to figure stuff out, and I kick myself that, like, when I was back at school, like even young, you'd try something like, say, drawing, for example, and you'd be like, oh shit, I'm no good at drawing. And then you'd stop. And it was only later in life that I realized most people are shit at something. And then whatever you do, if you do more and more, you're going to get better at it. And it's like a superpower. But yeah, at a young age, I'd try things and I'd be no good at it. So I'd give it up because I think I'm no good at it. And you know, not realizing that the key is to just stick at something.
Oh my God. But I feel like not everyone possesses that quality, that hustle, where do you think that really comes from?
Not having any ability at anything.
Yeah, wow.
No, I don't know. Probably my parents, I guess. Maybe yeah. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like for me, it's just like out of necessity. Like I suppose that's my superpower. Like, I can just outwork anyone, and I'll be patient and I'll be persistent. You know, so I'll just keep at something. It's probably what attracted me to long distance running. Like, if you and me go out on the street now, like you take me over 50 meters, 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters, but eventually you'll give up. Maybe it's 30 kilometers, but you'll give up and I'll still be running.
That's so good. See you later, young fella. Oh,
later,
cool.
boy.
Did you go for a run this morning?
Nah, this morning I went to the gym and had a sauna. Yeah.
No, good man. So you do go by the term podcaster when people ask you what you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. I always find it so interesting. I was talking to a recent guest about, I guess, labeling theory. Like, when people answer what it is that they do, usually the other person, it's like an immediate ranking or a perceived social class that they put you in immediately based on what it is that you do. I don't know why that is, but what is the most common or a usual reaction that when you answer podcaster? What do most people do when you say that?
Well, like it's changed. So 3 years ago when I started, it was a lot of the time it's like, what's a podcaster? Now it's like, how do you make money off those things?
Yeah,
that's probably what most people ask. It's a wonderful medium though, eh? And I find it's changing all the time. And I just love, like, from the background I'm in. So I got into, like when I was at secondary school in the late 1980s, you weren't even born then, son. Like, I really wanted to get into radio, and the only way to get into like radio or TV or any sort of legacy media then was basically to impress someone. There was someone that was in charge of employing people. The thing that I absolutely love about things like podcasting and YouTube is that it's an equal playing field. Anyone can get the equipment, give it a go, and you either find an audience or you won't.
Well, there was a reason I said the Joe Rogan of Aotearoa, because you mentioned 3 years in the game. I feel like you've been dominating for so much longer than that. I think it must be going into your broadcast years as well. But 3 years in the game, 4.5 million downloads, winning New Zealand's Podcast of the Year in 2024, interviewing some of the biggest names to come out of Aotearoa. From that 3 years, this may be a bit of a hard one, but who's been your favorite guest?
There's definitely a thing. 'Cause I'm up to I think about 200 episodes now, and they're all like yours. They're all long form interviews. So there's definitely a thing called recency bias, where someone that you've had on over the last few weeks or a couple of months is top of mind. Who would be the favourites? Bro, this is a cop out, but it's too hard to say, eh?
Yeah,
it's too hard to say. Probably real early on, Zach Guilford, who was one of the All Blacks, played in the 2011 Rugby World Cup, ended up on home detention in Christchurch after he stole money off his granddad to fuel his gambling habit. He came on the podcast in the first year that I started. I reached out to him. He was on home D at the time. So I went down to his place in Christchurch because obviously he couldn't leave. And we had a chat, and he was... there was so much honesty and, authenticity and vulnerability in it. And he was owning all his shit. And it was the most powerful thing. And that was definitely a pivotal moment in the podcast. For me, internally, it made me realize the power of sort of long form conversation and the areas you can go that other media can't. And then also there was some other media picked up on it.
Yeah.
So that was one of those moments that I look back now and go, oh, that was a big moment. And Zach and I, we'd messaged each other on Instagram before that, but we didn't know each other, and that's the first time we connected, and we've been mates ever since. And I was in music radio for almost 30 years, and you have big stars, you have Justin Bieber or Ed Sheeran or someone come in, but it's a transactional interview. It's 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes. That's the time slot you get. There's publicists there. They generally like the focus to be on the current single, album, the tour that's coming up, whatever it is. There's an agenda. And the goal from an interviewer in that perspective is basically just to, I don't know, hopefully ask a couple of funny questions or get a couple of funny answers that'll be picked up by TMZ or whatever. But the thing I like about the podcasting is, there's an opportunity to make a real connection with someone through non-judgmental long-form conversation, and there's just so much power in that, and it's brought me so much joy.
It is beautiful. Welcome to the Martin Show first ad break. For anyone who is wanting to go on a new journey, learn a new skill, we have started our basic beginners boxing fundamentals course. For anyone, if it's your first time, if you're a seasoned member, this is the course for you in the boxing space or fitness space. Click the link below or go to onlineboxingtraining.com and I'll see you guys there. Let's get some mahi, eh? What about your greatest lesson over those 3 years? And it might not be from a guest or individual. It could be something you've learned from yourself, about yourself, maybe in that 3 years. What would be your greatest lesson?
Shit, there's heaps. One of them which one of the big ones is probably not to take my good health for granted. I've had a lot of people on that have been dealt really, really rough hands. I recorded an episode last week. It was the second time this guy's been on, a guy called Josh Coleman from Greymouth. He was a really good runner, was like on the cusp of making the New Zealand Commonwealth Games team. Then he got leukemia. Then he got leukemia again. Then he had to have like stem cell bone marrow implants. And even though he's like healthy again now or doesn't have the disease, just to get to a normal stage, you know, every day he's got to go through some serious shit. And it makes me realize just what a privilege good health is, you know. Wow. I had a guy on a couple of weeks ago, Toa Fraser, who's a famous New Zealand director, did a movie called Number Two. He's probably better known for doing the show Sweet Tooth on Netflix.
Wow.
And he's got like, he's about the same age as me, but he's got Parkinson's disease. So there's just all these little moments which make me realize, you know, to be able to get up in the morning and just go about and do your shit, it's an absolute privilege, and it's probably something I've been guilty of taking for granted.
Wow. Yeah, I fit that category too, mate.
Honestly, there's like, so many lessons like that.
Yeah.
Another one is, it's just everyone's going through some sort of shit. It's probably made me more of a compassionate person in a way, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and more understanding of people and less judgmental, a whole lot of things like that.
Yeah, beautiful. And do you feel like in your conversations, you get this moment or where you have to pause, reflect and think like, wow, yeah, no, I'm doing this. I'm living in my purpose, so to speak. Do you get those feelings too?
Yeah, often. But and then I try and snap myself back because it's like you've got to be present, and it's actually quite hard to intently listen to someone for, you know, like an hour or 90 minutes, whatever it happens to be.
Oh my
but
God.
I do have those moments where my mind wanders and it's like, what the I'm sitting here with Sir John Key or whoever it happens to be.
It's crazy, eh?
Yeah.
I can't lie. I was even, when you went funny fuck you, I was like, shit, Dom Harvey's here.
Actually.
I had that same moment. I was like, shit, man, my mum's going to be looking at this one, you know, like, shit, Zachy, you're doing something, right?
Mate, you're doing great. Like, you've only been going a year. Your Instagram's at the time of recording this, it's like 6,000 followers.
Yeah.
You've mate, what you've grown in a year is phenomenal. It's really cool.
Yeah, no, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Well, this is a buzzy stat that you're probably familiar with as well, but 90% of podcasts don't get past episode 3. Why do you think most pods fail?
Oh, bro. Yeah, I'm well aware of this. This is a thing called podcast fatigue. So people launch. I've just recently started a podcast business called PodLab with my ex-wife, JJ. So we have this conversation with clients that come in all the time. I think people start, they rub their hands together, they think, where's the audience at? You know, I'm gonna be like Mr. Beast after, you know, or whatever it happens to be. And then they upload it, they see it has 8 listens or whatever, and then they do another one, maybe a similar amount. And I think people just realize it's a lot of work and they can't see where it's gonna go. And it is. I say this to people all the time. You know, you've got to spend the time in the trenches.
Yeah. You
got to go through that. It's like learning anything new. If you want to learn to play guitar or you want to learn today or whatever it happens to be, you got to go through that period where you're going to suck.
Yeah.
And the only way you get better is by keeping at it and going through it.
Wow. Yeah, well, this follows up from that I think you'll find interesting as well. So of the 2 million podcasts that are out there, 90% of podcasts don't get past episode 3. That's 1.8 million who quit. Of the 200,000 left, 90% will quit after 20 episodes. That's another 180,000 gone. So to be in the top 1% of podcasts in the world, you only need to publish 21 episodes of your podcast. Your competition isn't the 2 million podcasts, it's the 20,000 podcasters who didn't quit. It's literally who can stand the test of time, man.
It's what we were talking about before. Tenacity. It's amazing where it gets you.
Crazy.
You just got to stick at it. And then what happens? You find you just get better as well. Like you must look back now at your early episodes and think, oh my God, what was I doing there? And that's cool. That's part of the fun because it means you're getting better.
Have you ever, in that 3 years, the thought crossed your mind like, man, maybe I should stop, or that feeling of maybe I should quit or try something else?
Not really. Just sort of fleeting thoughts.
Yeah.
Especially in year one. Year one was tough because it's like there was no sponsorship money. I was I don't know. I think part of that was, first of all, 3 years ago, podcasts weren't as well established as what they are now. I don't know. I don't think I was good at selling myself either. And also the podcast probably had to grow to a point where it was worth advertisers jumping on board. So at that point, it's like, what am I doing? Is this a hobby? Is this a passion project? Or is this going to be, like a viable career path?
Yeah.
And thankfully, if you just keep at it, it just falls into place.
Wow.
It takes time.
It does. You're right, though. It's like there's one thing of being consistent and, repetition and keep doing the thing, but there's another thing getting better at the thing, eh? It's that Japanese proverb, kaizen, which is essentially continuous improvement and finding ways on just how to, that 1%, I don't know, you mentioned on Stephen Bartlett, 1% better every time. For you now, where are the areas that you're wanting to improve in, your show specifically?
Every episode I do, like afterwards I'll, and this is probably like a toxic trait I have, I'll go for a run afterwards and I'll just run through my head, like generally beating myself up about things I could have done differently or answers that were given where I should have gone in a different direction. So you're constantly beating yourself up, which isn't healthy. But yeah, I'm constantly working on sort of like trying to find, it's like a knife edge between over preparing and also having an amount of curiosity. Because if someone comes in and I already know the answers to all the questions I'm asking, that's not a lot of fun. But then I don't want to like miss some key information by under preparing.
Yeah.
So yeah, what about you? You got a book there with a lot of notes in.
Yeah.
There's a lot of highlighter.
No, I'm a geek, man. Like people don't even know this, but like I'm a geek when it comes to and I told you that Janet was coming, and I haven't really done nothing, so I'm a bit freaking out because it's going to be the opposite. I am very similar to you. I want to be prepared, but I also, when we're here, I want to let it all go. And it's a skill. It's so hard because even as you're talking to me now, I, in my brain, am trying to dictate where the conversation's going to go. But communication is a skill. So it's like, I even heard Stephen Bartlett, I know you're familiar with him. He's one of my idols as well. And he says that he doesn't even write any questions down. He literally just does research, data, stats, all that sort of stuff. And then he just free wills it. Man, I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. But yeah, it's that balance, of... being prepared, but being able to let it go.
One of the best chats I've had is with Mills Miliaina, former All Black. I think he played like 100 tests. He's one of the greats. My computer shattered itself before, just like half an hour before he came around, and I didn't have the chance to print out the questions. So I had to sort of like freeball that one. But amazingly, like, most of the information I'd read and heard about him sort of stuck with me. So we got through the chat. So I think sometimes you probably have to trust your instinct, but I don't know. I think part of it's like a respect thing as well. Like if someone, like I know you've had the little general, Stacey Jones, on your podcast. If you get someone of his caliber to come on your podcast, you don't want to go on raw dog, eh? Like,
exactly.
You want to show them some respect by doing some mahi beforehand. Absolutely.
It makes them feel valued too. Like, oh yeah, this guy cares about this interview and what we're about to do. Let's speak about that Kaizen philosophy, continuous improvement. What about for you in general, in everywhere in your life? Where are the areas that you feel that you need to work on?
Oh, mate, I'm obsessed with this stuff. I'm always trying to get better. I think there's no sort of finish line. I got some mates that are like the same age, and they're sort of like like winding down the clock. Another 10 years, and then I'll retire. But nah, I'm like from the Gary V school. It's like I'm halfway, so I'm constantly working on things. A lot of it's like more internal stuff. Like I've still got a lot of work to do. Like in the vulnerability department, just being better at talking. And I sort of find like I could be like more open with you here about some stuff in front of the mics than what I could be like one-on-one with some friends or family members. I don't know why. I don't know why that is. It's probably because some people might think it's harder, like, oh my God, you're talking about some real raw stuff in front of a microphone, in front of a big audience. But it feels like when you do that, there's a performative aspect to it. Yeah. Like, it's for public consumption. But, if it was just you and me, like sitting down privately somewhere having a drink, and, that's a different proposition for me to say, like, I'm not doing well at the moment.
Yeah.
And I'm old as shit, but I'm still aware that I've got to work on these things, and you can work on these things.
Yeah, I think that's very relatable to a lot of us, particularly males. my brother and I are very similar. Like we can be here and all of a sudden open up a little bit more, but then when we're just having dinner, you know, at home, it's like, man, I had a bad day today. It's like, you know, you're like, just eat your dinner and then you go to bed, you know? It's like, oh, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something quite comforting. I don't know. It's like a security blanket, the microphones in a way. I don't know.
Yeah, it is kind of strange.
It gives you some sort of confidence.
Yeah, well, I want to go to, I guess, the career side of things, because you did start in radio. You mentioned 30 years in radio.
Yeah, started in 1990 in a station in Palmerston North.
Yeah, wow. And I know you aired on the edge from 2001 to 2021.
Yeah, 20 years.
You're like the Michael Galvin we were talking about, Michael, of radio, eh?
Yeah, it was a comfort zone. And you can tell yourself it's not, because you are doing different things all the time. But there was something very comforting about it. And it was a long time, and it was enjoyable. I did 10 years at this radio station in Palmerston North straight out of school. And that was a massive comfort zone. When I left that and got the job at the Edge, I was like, right, I'm never going to stay in one place for like 10 years again. Wow. Next minute. Because it was a fun place to work, and it was really enjoyable, and the money was good, and it makes it hard to leave. But yeah, I know I'm really enjoying what I'm doing now. And it's good to have some sort of struggle or adversity in your life and building something new. There's something really satisfying about it, eh?
What made you want to leave and start your own thing?
I think I was just done, like exhausted, yeah.
Time.
Yeah, completely. It's probably time like 5 years before.
What are some of like the major differences between being a radio host and now a podcast host? Is there major differences?
So many. The main one is you can probably be your authentic self. And in radio, there's a lot of like chefs in the kitchen. So yeah, a lot of people like telling you what you should do and stuff. So even though you're encouraged to be yourself, it's to be like an exaggerated version of yourself, or like an inauthentic version of yourself. Now I'm completely like my own boss. So I've got no one saying, oh, you shouldn't have like John Key on because people don't care about politics, or don't have Kevin Mialama on because, you know, no one really cares about rugby anymore, or, you know, I can have the conversations I want with the guests that I want.
Wow.
And yeah, I love it.
I'm very, very similar. It's like you're in control, eh? You're in the driving seat. You are responsible now.
Yeah. Oh, mate, if it goes really well or really badly, there's nowhere to hide. It's on you. Yeah. There's something incredibly empowering about that.
Could you go back to radio now, do you think, if given the opportunity, or?
I don't know. It was such a big part of my life. So there are times where you miss it. And the things you miss are generally when you do something really, really big on the air, and then you're part of a big team and you can celebrate with the team. So last year, when the New Zealand Podcast Awards came out and I won some, I was at the barber at the time, so I was like, oh, this is cool. And then when I went back to PodLab, and there's like just two other people there. And so you don't get the same sort of
camaraderie.
Yeah, I suppose it's like individual sport versus team sport sort of thing.
Yeah, well.
But I think if I was back in radio, you know, it would be like 1 week in, 2 weeks in, a month in, and you'd have the consultant that comes over from Australia or America that tells you why you suck so much. And then I'd be sitting there going, oh, that's right, I forgot about all this shit. Yeah, so it's like, I suppose it's like the iceberg. Like there's the bit that's poking out of the water, which is the good bit, and then there's the big bit under the water, which is the bullshit that you don't see. Yeah. I had Christian Cullen on the podcast last year, and that's what he was saying. He's towards the end of his rugby career. It was like he loved the Saturday, Sunday, but it's just the Monday to Friday that he just couldn't do anymore.
Let's go way back now. Let's even go to the early years.
The olden days.
Yeah.
So how old are you?
I'm 26.
Bro, so I am literally double your age. But do you think I'm old as shit?
Not at all.
When I was your age, if I saw someone... when I was your age, I thought life was over at 50, eh?
Yeah.
I thought anyone that was 50 is like done.
I can't lie. When I turned 26 though, like, not old, like I'm not meaning, you know what I mean? But there was a part of me that was like, wow, I'm closer to 30 now than I am 20. You know, it was that realization, and I was like, oh shit, maybe it's time to start getting my act together in certain ways. And then I was also like, no, that. Like, come on, I'm a forever kid.
Oh no, you're doing good, and no one knows how long they've got. But one thing that really excites me about being my age now, and also seeing you like half my age, is that you've got so much time, bro. All going well, as long as you look after your health. And I've got just as much energy, if not more energy now than what I had when I was in my 20s, eh?
Yeah, wow.
As long as you look after yourself, you'll be the same. You'll still be looking for the next mountain to climb.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel bad like for all the older people I worked with in my 20s who I thought like, oh, wow, I can't believe you're still alive. You should be dead by now.
No, you do have a good energy about you. You're still bubbly. You're still obviously doing the runs or looking after yourself as well.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Like, exercise is like a massive cornerstone of my life, eh? I love it. When it gets to the point where you go for a day or 2 days without doing exercise and you feel weird in a bad way, I think that's a good way to be. Like when I go on holiday, I still want to, I still want to exercise every day. And I think that's cool. I think that's key. Like if the benefits that you get from exercise, physical, as we all know, but also mental, like if someone could like put that in a little pill, everyone in the world would be taking it.
See, what I'm getting from you as well, Dom, I feel like you have a very high achiever mindset. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you've always sort of possessed this thing from career, even now into the podcast things with your running. Not everyone possesses that high achiever mindset. We mentioned that at the beginning. Where do you think that desire to want to be the best or to be good or to be successful, where do you think that all comes from?
Probably like I said before, just not having any natural skill at anything, bro. So it's like survival instinct.
Yeah.
It's out of necessity. But also, I don't know, the last couple of years, I've probably from like a mental health perspective, I realized like if I try my best at something, it makes me feel better as well.
Yeah.
So for an internal thing. I don't know, really. I don't know. It's annoying sometimes, like having that sort of growth mindset, because it means like happiness has to be in the present. Like it can't be something that you're chasing, because otherwise you're never going to be happy. And I'm probably not as good as what I should be at like pausing and reflecting and looking back to see where you've come from and celebrating the little wins, because you're constantly looking for the next thing, which isn't entirely healthy, but it's a fine line.
Yeah. Do you think it's been more of a positive or a negative looking, I guess, respectively at your life? Do you think it's given you more joy having that desire to be good and to be the best, or do you think it's given you more, shit, I haven't even bloody enjoyed it?
No, I've definitely enjoyed it. Yeah. But it's just, like, say awards come out, so you either win an award or you don't, and it's someone else's opinion. So, I mean, you can't get too excited about it, but you win an award, it's great, you celebrate. You lose an award, you off, and then the next day, either way, you're back to work the next day.
Because I know you've mentioned you've struggled with, you mentioned other people, the people-pleasing, I guess, thing that everyone sort of struggles with, or a lot of people do anyway. How are you coping with that at the moment?
Again, it's another work on. It feels like everything's a work on, but I think I'm getting better at saying no at things I don't want to do. Although one thing I'll preface that by saying, like, so today you invited me on your podcast, I want to be here. If I didn't want to be here, I wouldn't be here. But, and this is something I've got to work on, I would have given you some long, outlandish bullshit excuse like, oh, bro, I'd love to be there, but I've got this other thing on and yada, 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 which is like, I mean, it's a lie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can relate to this completely.
I should say, oh, no, I don't really feel like doing it right now, but thanks for the offer. But I'll just like lie. Yeah. So that's so that means I'm respecting my own boundaries in a way by saying no to things. But it's also like means I'm a people pleaser because I can't be honest about not wanting to do it.
No, there are so many people that will be able to resonate with that, honestly.
You're like, I'll be midway through writing like a long message saying, why am I doing this? Like, I don't know this person. I don't owe them this big, long explanation, which is fabricated.
And you mentioned the vulnerability being a work on for you. And I feel like it's a work on for most young lads. I've got a conversation.
Yeah, what's it like for you? Because I'm probably, I don't know the age of your parents, but I guess I'm probably like a similar age to them.
Mum's 2 years older than you. So yeah, 71.
Yeah.
1971.
So there's a generational thing. So, and I think it gets better and better all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was at that age where I went to an all boys school in the late 1980s, and everyone was a homophobic slur, fucking faggot, soft cock, all that sort of stuff. And if you showed any sort of vulnerability back then, it would just be weaponized against you next time there's some sort of argument or fight. Yeah, wow. So you just end up completely closing up and being almost like robotic in a way, because it was the only way to sort of get through. So whereas I don't know, what's school like now? What's it like now being a dude in your 20s?
Yeah, I was very fortunate. I had a great schooling experience. It wasn't until after school where I really started to learn more about, I guess, the internal work, the traumas and all those sorts of things that you don't even realize, as a teenager or even as a kid, you don't even think about all these things. But I think as I've gotten older, I've gained the ability to be more expressive in regards to the way that I feel. And one thing that I struggle with, though, is I can give a lot of love. Like I'll give you my energy, but I really struggle with receiving. And I don't know where that comes from. So that's definitely a work on for me in regards to, I can express and show if I'm feeling a little bit mama, a bit of pain, but the receiving side of things, I really struggle with that. I'm like, no, I can do it. I can do it. Again, the high achieving mindset, nah, it's my responsibility. You don't get to love me like that. So that's a work on for me.
That's good self-awareness from your age. Like at your age, I was a chaotic mess. Like the conversation that we're having now. Like if the positions were swapped, and I was 26 and you were 52, I'd be like, what's this old talking about? So I think there's a good level of self-awareness. But I know what you were saying, like about the compliment thing. I'm the same, and that's another thing. Like if someone compliments you, you should just better say, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
But if you say to me, oh, nice shirt, I'll be like, oh, no, I like your shirt way more. Yeah. It's like just a really weird instinct thing. I don't know. Yeah. A deflection thing or something.
Oh my God. Yeah, I think I've seen a few posts about that. I think we do need to normalize complimenting your friends more and making that just more like normal. Oh, your haircut, Dom, or whatever it is. Because sometimes I said, nice haircut, Dom, you'd look at me and be like, what? You know what I mean?
I'll be looking for it. Is he taking the piss?
Yeah.
What's wrong with my hair?
It's like, no, sure, you have to look down at your shirt. You know what I mean? It's such a I don't know if it's a male thing or a Kiwi thing. Yeah. It's such a, it's such a thing. I don't know.
Yeah, but the compliment thing you're talking about, 1,000% agree. It's like you're born with an endless supply of compliments. They make the other person feel good. They make you feel good. Yeah. Share that love around. I've even started doing that more on Instagram. It's like instead of just scrolling through, like if someone's taken the time to put a post up, write a little comment. Like even just drop a couple of love heart emojis or whatever it happens to be. Yeah. But show people more flowers.
Oh my God. Not? You would have probably experienced that tall poppy throughout your career as well, right? Because it is quite big here in New Zealand. Did you ever struggle with that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I think I had a very thin skin, especially with trolling and stuff. I think I'm better with it now. Like I'll use the block or unfollow button so easy. Like if someone's going to come into my house and be disrespectful, then gone. I just don't know why people want to be mean. The tall poppy thing's strange. It's a definite New Zealand thing, and it's really icky. I think it's a scarcity mindset. So someone's like, oh, well, if Zach's doing well, that means I can't be doing well. So I got to. I think in America they call it. I don't know if it's the exact same thing as tall poppy syndrome or a similar thing, but they call it crabs in a barrel or crabs in a bucket. Okay. And if you see crabs in a barrel or bucket, a crab will be clawing his way up the side to the top, and when it gets near the top, the other crabs will pull him back down again. Yeah. So it's like, well, I don't want someone doing too well, but it's like. Yeah, my thing, Yeah, and radio was probably a bit like that. It may have changed now, but radio, like you had like staunch competitors, like fierce competitors. So if ZM had like an interview with in One Direction and we didn't, it was like, what the is going on here? Yeah. It's that bad, but it's like if I see another podcaster that's got a great guest on that I'd want, it's like, man, that's so cool. So happy for Zach.
Yeah.
Because you realise it's a saying. One of my superpowers is botching up sayings. There's a saying, it's something like, don't make the fence outside your house taller, make the dining room table longer. And it's basically saying, there's room at the table for everyone.
Yeah, wow. So true. And immediately, even off camera, you're talking to me about the podcast and stuff like that. We're pretty much in the same space doing this thing as well.
Yeah, mate, so you're 2 years behind me in the podcast thing, but we're both still trying to figure it out as we go along. Yeah. Like in terms of, there's legacy media like free-to-air TV and radio and newspapers and magazines. And then there's like new media like podcasting. So you've been doing it 1 year, I've been doing it 3 years. Joe Rogan's been doing it like 20 years or whatever. But one thing everyone in the New Zealand podcast scene has in common, we're all trying to find solutions at the same time. Mm-hmm. So like we're all like Sir Edmund Hillary, like just trying to figure out the next step on the mountain climb.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's cool. So why not help others?
Yeah. I love that. Mm-hmm. Dom, I heard you in your episode with Janet talk about how you are your biggest critic always, and you sort of struggle with giving yourself compassion and a bit of love. What's your relationship like with yourself now?
So this is, Janet Redmond you're talking about. She's like a therapist from Nelson. She's in the Stylebender movie. I had her on the podcast about a year ago, and it was crazy. We sat down and I ended up like, it was like the first bit of the podcast was just getting to know her a little bit. And then the second half was like a therapy session. And yeah, she got me crying straight away. I thought about like editing the episode or not publishing it and all those things. And I thought, nah, f*** it. So I just published it and got it out there. Even though it's real vulnerability. Again, vulnerability in front of a microphone though. But yeah, I'm still, it's a constant work in progress, like being kind to yourself. Because you got to be kind to yourself all the time. It can't just be when something goes good. Like, when you have some achievement or some milestone or some success, it's got to be like a day in, day out thing. Wow. Yeah. So I'm still working on it. But I like that aspect that you can be in your 50s and still be figuring shit out and working stuff out. Yeah. I think there's something really cool about that. So again, like going back to when I was your age, I would have looked at someone. First of all, I thought someone my age was really, really old. Secondly, I thought they've got it all figured out. They've cracked the code. And then you get there and you're like, oh no, everyone's just figuring shit out. Wow. Yeah.
So interesting, eh? It's so true, though.
Bro, I'm giving you like the secrets from the elderly.
I love it. Hey, it's wisdom, man. However you want to interpret, it's still wisdom. Bloody right, get your notebooks out. Dom, what about outside of mahi, outside of podcasting? You mentioned you're a runner. You've done, I don't know how many marathons. How many marathons have you done now?
Oh man, I don't know. Like maybe I don't know, like. Maybe 50 or so.
Wow.
I
like 50? Yeah. Wow, that's crazy, brother. Yeah, I actually am looking forward to going for a cruise with you. I don't know about 30 Ks, but maybe a nice 10K that'll do. These 26-year-old legs, you know what I mean?
Oh, no, I love it. Like the last December I did this run called the Kepler Challenge. So the Kepler is one of like New Zealand's great walks. And there's this one day a year where they have it as a running event. And it's a 60K mountain run. And you do something like that. And it just, first of all, you feel good for a week afterwards because it's like, you've done something that's really tough. So there's that aspect of it. But also it just sits in the back of your mind and then, it helps build resilience. So when things get tough, you can just like draw upon the starter from previous things you've done that, you are capable of doing tough things and you are capable of getting through hard challenges.
Has running for you, I guess, something quite
big on this podcast, we talk about, particularly for young men, is finding an outlet. And running's been that thing for you?
Oh, mate, it's brought so much to my life. Like, it's given me physical health. It's helped me stay lean and in shape. But all the obvious things like that, but just the mental health benefits, Like, I'll go for a run. Some days I don't want to. Some days every step feels like I'm running in gumboots and mud. But then I get home, I have a shower, and I feel this sense of self-satisfaction, which lasts for sometimes, 3, 4, 5 hours. Like you just feel good. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the harder a run is, the more satisfying I feel afterwards when I get it done. It's probably like you with your boxing, eh?
Yeah. Doing hard things, eh?
Yeah.
Following up from that, you mentioned a lot of things for yourself that you need to work on going forward. Great self-awareness. You gave that compliment to me. Great for you.
It's a big to-do list. Maybe I just need to start doing it.
What about for young men? What do you think it is that or men in general, what do you think that we need to work on as a collective?
Just being authentic, really. Yeah, authenticity is the key. I think that's probably the most important one. Just don't try and be anyone else. Just figure out exactly who you are, and once you've got that like personal like brand book or cornerstones or values or whatever you want to call it, then everything should fall into place from there. But just live authentic and be as open as you can. It's hard. Like I'm still working on this now, but it's like as soon as you start those conversations, it does get easier and easier, but it is hard. But you want to be as open as you can.
Yeah.
Because that's where real connections are built.
Absolutely. Future Dom, 5-10 years.
Dead.
I bloody hope not, Dom. I bloody hope not.
No, I feel really optimistic about the future, and it's
I can feel it.
Yeah,
I can see it.
It's exciting, and I've started looking at like aging role models. So like there's a book that I read. This guy that's on podcasts all the time called Dr. Peter Attia. He put this book out called Outlive, and the too long didn't read of it is basically reverse engineering your aging. So at 80 years old, if your goal is to be able to travel around Europe, you need the strength to be able to put a 15 kilo bag in the overhead lockers. So he's basically, and walk through train stations at a brisk pace. So he's like, if at the age of 50, you can't run 10Ks comfortably, or you can't, shoulder press X amount, then you're not going to be able to do this at 80. So I'm starting thinking like real long-term now.
Wow.
So I just want to be the best I can now. In terms of future goals, it's hard to, I don't know. I'm just excited about the path I'm on. And I figure if I just keep moving forward, step by step, everything will fall in place the way it's meant to. I don't know exactly where that is. Like if you said to me if I said to you 10 years ago, like, oh, podcasting, I want to do this, no one could imagine like the state of the medium now. So I don't know where it's going to head. Like nobody does.
Yeah, wow. So it's not necessarily like I want to be here, numbers, data. It's more just like process oriented today and
trust the process.
Yeah. I love that. We do have some fire off questions, Dom. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Probably, I didn't really appreciate it at the time, but this was like our like family mantra growing up: treat others how you want to be treated yourself. I don't know if that's a biblical thing or if it's just a good thing, but I was probably guilty of not doing that on the radio, like taking the piss out of people, and it was all done in jest and fun. But I'm trying to sort of live more authentically now and treat others how you want to be treated. Because I don't know, maybe it's an empathy thing that I've got from doing the podcast or an age thing, but you just realize that everyone's going through some shit. So to have a bit more compassion.
Beautiful. I love how you can reflect on the old Dom as well, being in radio and see how that was, I guess, wrong.
Oh, bro, like I was so driven by rating success, eh? Like I'd throw even a family member under the bus if it meant,
Yeah.
progressing to the next step.
And that was all again from the people pleasing and high achieving mindset, right?
Probably, yeah. And part of it probably, to be fair, like it's giving myself a little bit of a, free pass here. Part of it probably came from management as well and pressure to succeed.
What's the worst advice you've ever received?
Yeah, take this cocaine, it'll be good. No, I don't know. Worst piece of advice I've ever received. I don't know. What would it be for you?
Worst advice. You know what? I heard something recently that I'm currently in this stage of my life, and it's around the idea of playing it safe. You should play it safe.
Mm.
I mentioned Carl Van Roon talked about it, and I'm in this area of my life where I'm like, man, nah. Like I could easily, not easily, but we're very privileged here in New Zealand to, if I wanted to go work a quote unquote normal job or whatever, I told you my goals off here in regards to the energy, the location, the time, the freedom, all those things. I know that playing it safe won't get me those things. So I choose to not play it safe right now. We'll see in 5-10 years if I regret that decision. But I think that's quite bad advice for anyone that is wanting to quote unquote achieve or be successful in the areas that they want. And that looks different to everyone too. Playing it safe, kudos, if whatever that means to you. But for me, no.
And you just think, what if? Like, what's the worst that could happen?
Absolutely.
Like if you think big or give it a go, what's the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah.
The worst case scenario. First of all, if you entertain the worst case scenario for anything and you want to play it safe, it's only fair that you also entertain the absolute best case scenario.
Yeah.
Because they're both just as likely, I guess. What's the worst piece of advice? I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
It is an interesting one, eh?
It's a very interesting piece of advice. Yeah, I don't know.
This is actually going to be an interesting one because of who you are and what you do and the people that you've met and interviewed. But who do you know that I should know?
Joseph Parker.
Ooh.
Do you know Joseph?
No, not personally.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Or maybe even George Lockhart, who's Joseph's nutritionalist.
Oh, wow.
Oh, bro, get him on your podcast.
Yeah.
George Lockhart, he worked with Holly Holm, travelled with Conor McGregor for a while.
Oh, wow.
Done some celebrity stuff with like the Jonas Brothers and Demi Lovato.
He's based in Aotearoa.
He's like Joseph's BFF. So he's transformed Joseph in the last year. Incredible. Former like Marine in the States.
Wow.
He's just hardcore. But yeah, you should know him.
Great answer.
You should know him.
George, Joe, coming for you guys, eh?
He'd be a great guest for your podcast, but also I think you'd get like a lot of insights out of it that you can use for your own.
Yeah, beautiful.
For your own stuff.
Dom, my final question. I want to go to younger Dom. Could be the Dom that's about to embark on his radio career journey. It could be the Dom that's about to embark on his podcast journey. What's the one thing you want to say to him, bro?
Trust the process. Yeah. And just keep moving forward. It's it feels kind of like an Instagram slogan or something, but it is really good advice with anything and with any stage in life. Just do something, commit to it, trust the process, put one foot in front of the other, just keep moving. And you'll be, if you apply yourself 100% to anything, you will be surprised at where you'll end up. Like for you with your boxing, you may not end up being a Klitschko or a Fury, but if you like give it 100%, you will be surprised just how far you go and how far you end up. Same as with podcasting, same as with anything. And a lot of people love throwing around 100%. They say they gave it 100%, but did you really? Did you actually? Probably not. You probably could have given it more.
Great advice. Do you think about younger Dom much or?
I don't think about him too much. I think it's just too hard. I feel too sad. Like, like the stuff that you worry about and got anxious about and stressed about. It's like, Yeah. I look back, I suppose, with a bit of compassion and empathy, and I feel sad for that kid. Yeah. But then the worrying thing is now that I'll be 70 years old and I'll look back at younger Dom as and this guy and I'll feel the same way. So that's why I'm constantly trying to like rectify these things and work on them.
Dom Harvey, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful, man.
Oh, are we done?
No.
Are you wrapping me up?
No. I'm still going.
We've only been going 53 minutes.
That's great. No. Was it 53?
That's what it says on the Roadcaster Pro.
Oh, shit.
Welcome to the Martin Show first ad break. For anyone who is wanting to go on a new journey, learn a new skill, we have started our basic beginners boxing fundamentals course. For anyone, if it's your first time, if you're a seasoned member, this is the course for you in the boxing space or fitness space. Click the link below or go to onlineboxingtraining.com and I'll see you guys there. Let's get some mahi, eh?
What's the record length for the Martin Show?
Oh my God, we had Joe Damon on, the comedian.
Joey D. Yeah.
Joey D. 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours.
How did you get him on? You just DM him or?
So Joe, it was actually through, we're both with Johnson and Laird. We both have the same agent. He's great. He's always keen to toe talk. He's always keen to support. But he can call it or he can talk. And that's why I was 2.5 hours. It's because he's a storyteller. You know, it's you ask him a question like I've asked you and you know, you'll answer it within, I don't know, 2 to 5 minutes. Joe will articulate the story and he'll bring it right round. And he'll bring it full circle, but it takes about 20 minutes to answer that one thing and he'll give you just visuals and, you know what I mean? He's a comedian, he's one of those type of guys. But he is funny, man. He's a good fella.
He's cool. He's funny. His story's inspiring. I love some of the serious stuff he does on Instagram, like where he talks about like tall poppy syndrome and just that negativity and stuff. He's got like a really good, really good perspective on all that stuff.
Yeah. Which
I really admire.
But what I love about the stuff that you've done and you're currently doing with your storytelling is, because there are those, you know, the Joe Damons, the Joseph Parkers, I guess celebrities of New Zealand, but you also tell stories, just ordinary people that may have, like I know you've done the Glory Vale ones, the mosque shooting stuff. Like those are powerful stories.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a few of them in the bag as well because I find them really cool, like people that you never would have heard of, but have just been through like unbelievable things, like incredible adversity or whatever. Because it's a reminder to me of just how lucky we are. Like looping back to what I was saying at the beginning about taking your health for granted, little lessons like that, and just a reminder that things could be way tougher than what they are. So enjoy what you have right now. But from I try not to get like bogged down in the podcast analytics now because cynically, if I get an ex-All Black on, the numbers spike, you know. But I can have a story that's far more amazing than that with someone that you've never heard of that's incredibly inspiring, and the numbers go okay.
Wow.
So if you're constantly chasing like the numbers, then you just be ex-All Black after ex-All Black. Maybe throwing an odd cricketer here and there as well. Hey, you guys find that as well.
That's so interesting. Absolutely. And we mentioned Stephen Bartlett. Stephen Bartlett talks about this a lot. Like he's obviously at a point now where he can bring on probably anyone in the world. But he tends to find, he's like, screw the numbers, screw the stats. I want to tell stories that I think are interesting that my audience may find interesting. And so instead of bringing on Justin Bieber, for example, that's probably going to do gazillion numbers. He'll bring on
like a sleep expert.
Absolutely, yeah, an expert of some sort. And I love that. I love that he does that. Do you feel like you want to continue in that route as well, of telling multiple stories?
Yes, absolutely. I think if you'd go with New Zealand celebrities, it's like there's a couple of problems with it. Like there's not enough. Like there's not enough people in the pool, but also you end up with a situation where, I don't know, like they'll turn up on every podcast. So it's like finding that sort of point of difference. But in saying that, I don't know. I don't know where it's going to end up. Like I started 3 years ago as a running podcast, and it sort of evolved into where it is now. So I don't know where it's going to end up. Yeah. But it's just like we were saying before, just, you know, keep moving forward, keep working as hard as you can, keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you'll end up where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, beautiful. Where do you go to for inspiration, Dom?
TikTok.
52 still I love it. 52 and a 30-year-old.
Where do I get it from? I get inspiration from all sorts of places, like since I've been doing the podcast, like a lot of the guests, like that's been a great source of inspiration for me. And books, I guess. Books. But also, I don't know, I think my algorithm, like social media gets a really bad rap, and rightfully so. And I must admit, I've got a terrible like addiction to my phone. Like it's like I've turned off that weekly screen time thing.
Every Monday that it pops up.
Every week I'm like, no, that can't be right.
Oh my
9 hours a day.
Wow, Dom, you had 9 hours, Dom.
It's bullshit, man.
It's bullshit.
But I reckon my algorithm on Instagram is pretty good. Like I get fed some really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not just kids. There's a lot of kids like failing and falling into water and things. There's a lot of that. But there's also like a lot of really good, motivating, positive stuff I get fed.
Yeah.
Which sort of fuels the fire.
Oh my God, that's definitely one of my biggest addictions at the moment too, is the old phone. I think 90% of the listeners will be in the same boat as well.
Like I can try and justify like, oh no, I'm doing work. It's like, but it's like, whatever. Yeah. It's not. Or if I was using it strictly as a work tool, there'd be ways to be more disciplined about it. Like have like say 2 to 4 p.m. each day's phone time or whatever. But no, I'm constantly like picking it up, looking at it. I'll even be out on a run and I'll have a thought about like a podcast guest or whatever. So I'll stop and write it in the notes section and back in the pocket.
I'm the exact same.
Bro,
it's like,
what the f*** are we doing?
Yeah, it's that dopamine, I'm so interested in dopamine at the moment. I really want to get a dopamine expert on the show. Anyone, let me know. But no, I want to actually touch on niching down, because I think that's quite important for everyone who's in the podcast space or personal branding space. What are your thoughts on niching down? Because you started with your podcast as a runner's podcast, quite niche down to runners specifically. Would you ever go back to niching down that way, or because your show is quite broad, as I mentioned?
Yeah, very broad. Yeah.
Same as me, and I love that though. But there are some podcasts out there that are strictly finance or combat sports or whatever it may be. What are your thoughts on niching down? Would you go back or would you want to target a specific focus group?
No. See, when I started 3 years ago, I had a meeting with this marketing / branding expert, and he said, oh mate, the podcast market's so saturated. You need a niche. You need a niche to poke your head through, because otherwise there's too much noise out there. And you look back now and you laugh at that, right? So I started as a running niche because it's something I was passionate about. And I thought everyone's got some connection to running. So it wasn't strictly like hardcore or professional runners. Like episode 1 was with Mitch James, the singer. So he runs for his like mental health. And then after about a year, I realized I'd sort of like an evolution of the podcast. I'd sort of moved away from that niche. So I rebranded it and called it, the Dom Harvey podcast to reflect where it was. But I don't think it's necessary. Like, look at what you've grown in a year, which is nothing. Like, I reckon stick where you're at, bro. Like, you're onto a really good thing here. You're doing so well.
Yeah, thank you. Sometimes it doesn't feel like that, eh? Sometimes you're like picking cotton. You're like, man.
Yeah. Well, there were times for me, especially in the first year, where it's like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And then you get a DM from someone they're just talking about the connection that an episode made with them or the takeaways that they got from it. And that was the little bit of fuel to keep you going.
Yeah, that's great. Do you think it is that goes to internal versus external validation? Because it is nice. It's having a bit of praise, essentially, or I don't know what the right word is, maybe a bit of evidence. Validation. Yeah. But then it's like, you want to be able to keep doing the thing even if it is doing shit,
Yeah.
How have you managed that whole external validation, praise journey? Are you at a point now where you're like, do you still stress about the numbers?
No, I don't. I don't. I try not to even sort of look at the numbers now. Try not to worry about it because, like I was saying to you before, bro, if I was just stressing about the numbers, it would just be like X All Blacks every week.
Yeah.
Because that's what New Zealanders like. That's what they watch. That's what they want to see. But it's like I know there's like good stories out there of really good people that deserve the platform, and so I'm in a lucky position right now where I've stopped stressing about the numbers and just do this, talk to the people that I want to talk to.
Would you want to take it internationally or like a traveling podcast?
Oh, mate, I'd love to. I don't know where you'd start with that though, because it's like I've got no, like, I don't know, say, like where would you start? Like say you're like a well-known Australian sports person, like, why would you go on my podcast? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll be like, Dom Harvey, never heard of this guy.
Because my brother and I, when we started, we're like, man, one day, 5 years time or whatever, we want to be able to take it. If we want to go to Dubai and record with some of the guys there, or go to the States, But yeah, maybe that is a bit.
No. Sorry, that was negative thinking on my part. Like, I
love it. You're like, oh man, these kids' dreams. I'm killing these kids' dreams.
No, I suppose like you got to build to the point where like you are good enough, or or you're reaching to the, like every now and then there'll be like a clip that goes up, and I'll be like, what the like. Kelly Slater like this, or Israel Adesanya like this.
Oh my god!
So you think you're suddenly getting into that radar. So if you punch through and you have those little sort of moments enough, then suddenly Kelly Slater knows who you are, and it's not a fluke clip or whatever. So you never know. I think it's like what we were saying before about the process.
Yeah,
you just got to keep doing it, and you'll end up where you're supposed to be.
Oh my god, that has been probably one of the biggest learnings in the year is the patience side of things, and you can't skip any of those moments. Me and my brother did an episode, it'll probably be out next week, and it is literally called "We're in the Trenches," because that's how we sort of feel in the moment. You're
doing good. Like as soon as we walked into this room today, this is what I said to you. I said it reminds me of me. So I started with the exact same bit of equipment, a Roadcaster Pro from Rubber Monkey. Bro, I've spent so much money at Rubber Monkey.
Oh my god!
They were sending the gear out with like a couple of fruit bursts in the box, and I'm like, well, that's really nice, but I did spend $3,000. You could have given me a whole bag. But I started on my dining room table with like just one iPhone leaning up against a coffee cup. Then within a year, I had like a camera set up and spare room at my house, and now my own studio space and pod lab. So you just have to go through the process. I suppose you could pump a bit of money into it and accelerate the process, but you have all the gear, but you may not be at the level personally where you deserve that gear potentially.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, you just got to get those hours under your belt.
Oh my God, reps. It does take time. I agree.
Reps, yeah.
We haven't quite hit 50. This will be close to 50 now. At least we're in that, in that top 1%, we're over 21, I think it is. But I think you're right. I think the biggest thing, my reason why I think people fail or they give up too soon is because like a lot of people don't realize how hard it actually is, the investment that you do make, not just financially buying all the equipment, but you actually put in quite a lot. Like I'm sure you put in hours every week, daily.
It's so much work. Much work. Like you message to people, they might not be available when you're available, or they want to do it, but not now. They want to do it later. And, there's a lot of like moving parts. And then there's all the preparation that goes into each guest that we talked about. And there's there's a lot of work involved. Mm. It's a very time consuming hobby. So you gotta love it.
Yeah, you do.
I love what you said before, do the reps.
Yeah.
Do the reps. It's like, I want arms like you, but I just, you can't. I need to do the reps. There
he is.
Damn, I didn't know it was a tank top show.
52, he reckons. That looks like 22 to me. Yeah.
I just started taking creatine like a month ago.
Oh, nice, dog.
Does it work? I
don't take any of that stuff.
Really?
Nah.
What do you have, just protein?
No, I don't even take protein shakes. I just try.
Okay.
No. I just try and eat. Try and eat relatively. What's the bro's name? George.
George Lockhart.
Yeah. I'll have a yarn with him.
One of the big takeaways from George Lockhart that I got, he was talking about Joseph Parker. He said like Joseph Parker's like a Ferrari, and you have to put the best fuel in. And he goes, Joseph Parker, like previously, just was putting any old fuel in the Ferrari. So he was still a Ferrari, but he wasn't functioning properly.
Yeah.
I thought, and it's just stuck with me. Every time I eat something now, I'm like, okay.
Everything's got a cost. What's the cost of this thing?
Yeah.
Now, you're in good nick, Dom.
Well, thanks, mate. Yeah, the running has allowed me. Someone said to me, you can't run away from a bad diet, but if you do enough Ks, you actually can.
Yeah.
But no. Something I've mentioned a couple of times, it's like, taking your good health for granted. I am getting better and better at that. So I'm just far more mindful of like, how much alcohol I drink and what I eat and stuff like that.
Actually, there is one that I haven't touched on here, and it's around. It was back into the radio industry. Do you think it's dying?
Yes, but a very slow death. I think it's going to be around for a while. But it's all that traditional media is sort of dying, and podcasting is definitely accelerating that process, because I think someone only has a certain amount of listening hours for content each day, whether it's in the car or when you're having a walk or a gym workout or whatever. So if someone's consuming podcast content, it's time that they're not listening to the radio. And also, in-car listening and radio is still going to be around for a while, Surely. Like there's a radio in the car, but most people don't even have an actual radio in their house anymore. So most like at-home radio listening is done on a device. And out of all the things you can do on your phone, why would you choose to listen to a radio station?
Yeah, wow.
So it makes me sad in a way, because the radio was really good to me, and it's like a big part of who I am as a person. But it's always been really adaptable, Like throughout my radio career, there was all these challenges that came along. Like even before I was alive, like when TV first came along, people were like, TV's going to kill radio. Radio survived. Then, Walkmans came along. People were like, Walkman's going to kill radio. It didn't. Then iPods came along, and iPod shuffles and all these other, there's been all these other challenges along the way. Radio's always been really good at pivoting and adapting, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That is
I feel like all the big media companies are like scaling down the workforce out of necessity, and it's one thing I've learned from all the podcasts I listen to. It's hard to grow a business while scaling down the workforce, which is what the media companies are doing. So I don't know where it's going to land, but
yeah, it is similar to TV too, like the future of TV, and I guess like the shows like Shortland Street and stuff that are potentially closing down soon. I don't know where the future is going to head in regards to the media space.
Yeah, it'll still exist, but it's just going to evolve into something else.
Yeah. And the question is, what about your show, or what can you do to get the right people to be watching your stuff and to be listening to your stuff, right?
Yeah. Just got to be good enough for long enough.
Yeah.
One of my radio bosses said to me once, he goes, you just have to, I'm like, why are people listening to that show and not our show? And he goes, you just have to be, I'm like, we're way better. He goes, you just need to be good enough for long enough. Like, so it's like you can't have a good episode and expect everyone to be there. It's like you need a good episode, then another good episode, then another good episode, and then eventually the people will come when the content's right.
Oh my God, I love that, Dom.
Yeah.
You got to be good enough for long enough. That's going to stick with me. Any podcasts that you listen to?
Oh yeah, I listen to heaps. Mainly sort of interview ones, just to, to learn from them. But yeah, Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett that you talked about. Listen to that lots. I just love how much thought goes into everything, like the show notes, the titles of the episodes, the way those videos are cut to look like movie trailers. I'm like, oh, bro.
Wow. There are levels to the game.
Oh, yeah. That's the benchmark. That's the standard.
Yeah.
So I listen to that. I listen to Joe Rogan if he's got a guest on that I'm interested in. Who else? Dax Shepard, Armchair Expert, Theo Von, Flagrant sometimes with Andrew Schultz. Yeah.
He's talented.
He's so talented. He's so funny.
How about this?
Call her daddy as well. I love Call Her Daddy.
Yeah.
Alex Cooper.
Who would be your dream guest, Dom?
Oh my God. Don't squander the opportunity. Dom, don't say the first thing that comes into your mind. Israel Adesanya would be one for sure.
Oh, Tommy!
What?
Wow.
What?
That's crazy.
Oh.
He's mine too.
Is he?
Yeah.
Actual.
My brother and I mentioned on episode 1 of the Martin Show where we both said like, Jake, Zach, who's your dream guest? 3, 2, 1. We both said Izzy at the same time.
Your dream guest. We'll go out to it all for the first one. We'll say it at the same time as well. Let's see if we're thinking on the same thing. 3, 2, 1. Israel Adesanya.
I'm glad you said him too, because I think he's a great replica, or he's a great individual for young men to look up to, not just in regards to what he's done, but I think more so in regards to who he is and the way that he presents himself. He's a warrior, but he's also a gentle soul. And I am looking forward to speaking with Janet, the therapist, this afternoon, actually, about that. And
yeah, I fully agree with what you're saying. I think that was the thing for me. So I saw the Stylebender movie, and he's with this lady, Janet, and he's crying in front of her. And I think that sets a standard that it's okay. It's okay to be like a tough guy and also show that vulnerability and emotion as well. So when I was umming and ahhing about that chat that I had with Janet and about publishing it or editing it or whatever, I thought, no, Izzy's on his own documentary, like bawling his eyes out. If he can do it, I can do it too. Yeah. I think he's a good role model. And I also like his perspective on tall poppy syndrome in New Zealand. And how he just calls out that bullshit.
Can you imagine at that level, at that level of fame and being in New Zealand, the amount of crabs, the amount of crabs, going back to your analogy, you imagine that, you know, like
it must be so annoying.
Wow.
And I just love, I don't know if you saw the clip, but when he was going back to his McLaren and some guy was trying to call him out in the street, and he, you can vaguely hear it because it was shot by someone on a phone over the road. He said something like, bro, I'm not going to fight you. I get paid millions of dollars to beat people up.
Oh my God. What was that man wanting? A bloody death wish. That's crazy.
It's such a good line though.
Yeah.
Such a good line. Just wasn't engaging.
Yeah. Well, many fighters are like that. Like Dan Hooker. Oh man, I would love to see what Dan Hooker would have been like in that moment though.
I had Dan on the podcast. He was amazing. Like he's such an intriguing guy. He goes, oh, Israel's the nicest guy ever. But he goes, I've got malicious intent. He's like, if you provoke me and I've got cause and I can justify it as self-defense, I'll f*** you up.
Yeah.
Like, he's a madman.
Yeah. I can imagine that, to be honest. Oh, Dom, that's actually a good one. Thinking of this, what's been your worst episode? Are you allowed to answer that?
Oh, yeah. I can answer that. I will answer that. I had one at the start of this year with Lulu's son, who's a tennis player, New Zealand tennis player. Well, she was born in Wanaka. Last year at Wimbledon, she did really well, like made it to, I think, the quarterfinals. And she was over for the ASB tennis tournament at the start of the year, and they messaged me saying, oh, would you have Lulu on your podcast? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, she can only do 45 minutes. And I'm like, oh, ideally I need like an hour and a half to 2 hours. Like, you know, it might be less, but, you know, whatever. They're like, nah, the most she can do is 45 minutes. So we got there. And this is on me for not establishing the ground rules, but I thought, once she comes in, we'll just see how long we can push it. But at 45 minutes, like her PA was tapping on the glass, like, oh no, Lulu's got to go to training. So it was, it was just dumb. I learned then and there that first of all, like I needed to establish the ground rules and be more respectful of the time. So that way I could have accelerated the chat and got to some key points and, you know, done it in 45 minutes. But also I learned that 45 minutes just isn't long enough for what I'm trying to achieve and what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, well,
you know?
Yeah. Well, when we started speaking of time, it's a skill as well to be able to uphold a conversation or for an hour and a half, etc. Do the reps, It's a common theme. When we started, going about 20, 30-minute conversations, still great conversations. And then as you get better at the thing, they can sort of extend out, do a bit of research. What are you trying to achieve from the conversation? They get a little bit longer. You know, it all is like a repeating theme in this conversation of it takes time.
Yeah. And there's some people that are just like quite shy or introverted or short answer people. Like sometimes I'll finish a podcast and it's been an hour, but I feel like everything's been covered. And that's fine. But you just want it to breathe as much as what it needs to rather than have like a time restraint. So I'd say that was probably the worst one. And that was nothing on Lulu. That's completely on me, really.
Yeah, wow.
But that was a big lesson on my part to just stick firm to what you're trying to do. Because I do feel like that might happen more and more as podcasts become more of a thing. Like, say if someone's on the podcast circuit, they'll be like, oh, we can't do all of these. We can do the Martin show and Dom's show and Brody Kane or Between Two Beers, but you can each get half an hour. That might happen more and more. But I might just need to have some like personal ground rules and just stand firm on that.
Would you ever bring your show into I know there are a few podcasts that they have like a collaboration with a radio station. Would you ever do that for the Dom Harvey podcast?
Nah, I'm quite happy to be independent. Yeah, I want to do, mate, I've been employed by the man my entire life until my late 40s. So I want to do like everything my way. I don't want any other input apart from like my tight inner circle who I trust so much.
That realization is what, once I turned 26, I wanted that as well. And so again, in the trenches, trying to make that reality. It's not easy though, but
no. Sometimes it's hard to stand firm, mate.
Wow.
But
especially you sometimes your mum, your parents might be like, "What the hell are you doing?" Like, go get a normal job or whatever.
As long the thing that's got to keep you there is like enjoying it, eh? As long as there's like an element of enjoyment to it. I think that's why so many people give up. Like if it feels like a chore at any point, that's when it's hard. That's when it's really hard to stick with it. That's where it takes real discipline. Mm-hmm. But you just got to do it. You're onto a good thing, bro. You've done really well. Your Instagram page, did you start that on zero?
The Martin Show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I think that's something to be really proud of, right?
Yeah. I honestly, I don't really like, me and our team, we don't really like pay too much mind to it. It's just like, keep going. Keep going. Nowhere. Again, this is probably something I've heard you actually mention it before. Once you reach the 5,000, it will go to the 10. Once you reach the 10, it's going to go to the 50. You know, it's never, so I don't, the thing for me though, bro, honestly, Dom, was I want to try and enjoy it all more, you know? I just try and enjoy it more, Zach. You know, not think like, we need to get to 10, we need to get to 10. Right. And then it goes to the 50. It's like, hold up, celebrate that 5. Doesn't mean you have to go and get blackout wasted, but like, whatever that means to you. But yeah, trying to enjoy the process. Yeah. Trying to enjoy being in the trenches more.
Yeah.
That's what I'm working on.
Yeah, 100% the same.
Yeah.
Still a work on.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, you're doing great. This has been really fun. I was stoked when I got the invite.
Thank you for being here, Dom. Any final words?
No, just that, mate, it's been an honour to be a guest on your show. Oh, you messaged me yesterday. You love a voice note, by the way.
I do.
Zach loves a voice note.
I do.
And he called me Dommy, which made me feel kind of good in a way. I don't know. Kind of weird, but kind of good.
Yeah?
But I really enjoyed it.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm a weird. Everyone who knows me knows I'm a weirdo like that.
But you said you got a present for me, but it hasn't arrived yet.
No, yeah, we'll drop that off. Well, actually, when we go for a 30K run, Dom, we have a closing tradition on this podcast where the previous guest asks a question for the next guest, not knowing who they are. The question for you: do carrots belong in hangi?
Like cooking under the dirt? Yeah, why not? Do they?
I think they do. Yeah. I haven't had a question.
Is it like a mouldy version of like pineapple on pizza?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Who wrote that? Oh, you can't say who wrote
I
it?
can't say. You'll probably see when we release this episode.
What are you mad about carrots?
Yeah. I love it. Dom, where can the people find you?
I was stretching out.
We've had many great moments in this. Where can the people find you, brother?
Instagram, Dom Harvey NZ, or just on YouTube or whatever your podcast app, just the Dom Harvey podcast. But yeah, listen to every episode of the Martin Show podcast before you check out any one of mine.
Nah, man, you're a big inspiration for my brother and I, especially for me. I can see a lot of myself in you and through your trajectory. So even I'm looking forward to re-listening to this and some of the things that you've said here, because I think there'll be a lot again that I can really relate to. So thank you, brother. Thank you for being here.
Oh, Zach, be proud of yourself, bro. By the way, you're light years ahead of me. When I was your age, I was a chaotic mess. You've got your head screwed on the right way, and you're onto a really good thing. So keep at it.
Thank you,
Thanks,
brother.
bro.
That concludes another episode of the Martin Show team. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and go hit Dom Harvey's subscribe button as well. We're going to be back next week for another episode. Kia ora team. Thank you.